name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Monday, which means it's time for a 5 by 5. This is where I take 5 things, 5 subjects related to magic. I spend 5 minutes talking about each subject. I then move on to the next subject. It's quick, it's snappy, you never know what you're going to get. Now, this week I'm going to actually start off by showing you some footage that I got at a gig from somebody I was actually performing at a couple of days ago. So, literally a couple of days ago, I was doing an illusion show and I was doing close-up magic beforehand, and it was for a company anniversary corporate event, and a guy said, "Hey, can I video on you?" And I said, "Yes, as long as you can airdrop me the footage." So it's vertical, it's not the best footage, but you know, I've had so many people on this channel say that they want to see more footage of me performing the quantum deck, so that's what I'm performing on here. I'm performing the quantum deck, so you're going to see full live unedited performance of the quantum deck. Just for people that say it can't be done close up, it can't be done in the real world, let's do another video so you can see it can. And then I'm going to actually run that video again the second time, but I'm going to be doing some live commentary over the top, because there's some really important stuff that I want to touch on, and this is a perfect video to do it on. So the first 2 videos are going to be live performance video, live commentary, but there's also a lot that we've got going on as well. But without further ado, let's get into this week's. So I've got a special deck of cards here. I will explain why it's special a little bit later on, but I'm going to put it right there on top of your glass. Is that all right, sir?
Absolutely
on top
fine.
of your bottle. I also have another deck of cards. You're going to help me with this, sir. You look so excited to help with this trick. This is good. This is a pack of 52 playing cards. Would you like to shuffle them, or do you trust me? Apparently you don't trust me.
I'll shuffle.
That's very good. But by the way, when you finish shuffling, can you put them back in the original order? You know what was amazing? I was thinking of that card. I mean, it's just good. Are we done? Amazing stuff. And they're all there, they're all different. You can see that everything is as it appears to be. Is that fair, sir?
Yes, that is.
They're all there. It's not like it's a special deck of cards where they're all the same that you can get from like magic shops or anything like that. So, here's the idea. I'm going to show you a miracle. First of all, you are going to pick a card. It doesn't matter whether I see that card, I'm allowed to see it. So I'm going to cut packets onto the table from the deck that you shuffled. Anytime you want to, sir, just say stop. There?
Yes.
Okay, so are you happy with this card?
I am.
The Ace of Spades. Is that a good one for you there, sir? Wonderful. So we have the Ace of Spades. Now I need you to help me as well. There's 52 cards in the deck. Okay? 52 cards, 52 positions in the deck. I'm going to tell you that this is a special deck of cards that I placed here. It's very special. The reason it's special is because these cards are blank. They're blank on the front, they're blank on the back. These are what cards look like before they're printed. There's 51 blank cards in this deck. There's 1 card that's printed. 1 card and 1 card only. It's in the middle of the deck, that's all I'm telling you. Now, when I snap my fingers, I'd like you to name a position. You're going to see if you can work out where it is in the deck, remembering it's somewhere in the middle. I'm going to snap my fingers. Where is it? 26, are you sure? Because that's my IQ. 26, yes? 26. Check this out. Because this is the weird thing. You happy with 26? You're not going to believe this. I'm going to pick this blank deck up, and I'm going to deal cards onto the table one at a time. As I deal each card, I'm going to turn it over so you can see it's blank on both sides. Make sure I don't cheat. I'm going to deal them right here in front of you, sir. Is that okay?
No problem.
26. Check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Isn't this exciting? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now, if this works, I want you guys to go crazy. 21. By the way, what was the name of your card?
Ace of Spades.
Ace of Spades. And you said 26. You had a free choice of card. You had a free choice of number. All these cards are blank. That's 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. The only card that's printed, the Ace of Spades, 26th position. You can examine all of these cards, sir. They are blank on both sides. The only card that's printed is the Ace of Spades, and that's the trick. Okay, so this was filmed at a corporate event, and as you can see the illusions behind me, this is close up before an illusion show that takes place later on. You can also see that I've got a bag set up there for some Rubik's Cube stuff after this. Anyway, right. So what I like to do with the quantum deck when I'm performing to a big table is I like to put the deck out the way at the very beginning. Sometimes I'll even do it before like 2 or 3 tricks. And I do like to
to try and do it as an any card at any number. And a lot of the time I'll do that by using the deck I've been using for something else and having them shuffle it. Now, the important thing I want you to notice here is when somebody's shuffling, there's a lot of dead time. So you want to fill it with as much as you can. You know, little lines, little jokes, whatever it may be. You saw he dropped a card, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the one I'm thinking of. Just stuff like this. Now, the other thing is I'm looking for the force card, which is the Ace of Spades, to cut to the top. And I went through the entire deck once, couldn't see it, and went back to the beginning. Don't panic about stuff like that. I see people that have to do a move like that, and they stress and they worry because they can't see it. Remember, the audience doesn't know what you're doing. So because they don't know what you're doing, you've got nothing to worry about. Obviously, you're seeing a timing force there. In all honesty with you, I think that the timing force is one of the best forces that you can use. But I've talked about that on the channel in the past. Now we go into the impossible thing, which is obviously the actual quantum deck. So we've got the Ace of Spades, but now I bring attention to the deck, and I bring attention to the fact that there's numbers in the deck. And notice, I don't make a big deal of it. I say, hey, it's, somewhere in the middle. What number is it? Like I said on the quantum deck tutorial, very, very rarely do I have anybody naming out of the original range, just because of how I present it. So the focus now is on the deck on the table. I've heard people say, oh, you can't perform the quantum deck close up. You cannot perform it. The quantum deck can't be performed close up. You can only perform it from 50 meters away. Well, here's me performing it to a table of people, really close up. But also, it's not me that's filming this. The guy that's filming this is just one of the punters on the table. And you see how close he gets to the deck when I deal. And nothing is said, nothing is seen. I think the most important thing that you have to understand with the quantum deck is you can do it this close, and it's not a problem. Now, one other thing I want to point out about the quantum deck, and any deck where you're having to deal for a prolonged period of time, is I like to break it up to make it interesting. Like after 10 cards, isn't this exciting? Just stuff like that. Little lines that you throw in just to kind of break it up. So it's not just one monotone dealing procedure. Now, I know they said whatever number they said, so I stop at this point and I reiterate the impossibility. Think about this. You could have said any number. Think about this. You could have had any card. You had the Ace of Spades. You had the number. And then you see the reaction you get when you get to the number at that position and they see it's the Ace of Spades, the only card printed. It's an incredible moment. Now, regarding examinability, which I know a lot of other people have a problem with, you see me handing the deck over to the guy, and he does the same thing that everyone does. He doesn't care about the deck. He's there pretending to be a Las Vegas showgirl with it and showing on both sides. The deck isn't important. They see it's blank. If anybody's going to focus on anything, it's on the Ace of Spades. If anyone is doing the quantum deck and they're in a situation where regularly they're having people go, let me look at that blank deck, then you're doing it wrong. You need to rethink your presentation because it should never be about that. Yeah, you can hand it out, and as you can see, I gave it directly to the guy, but it's never an issue. And I think that's the important thing. The important thing to take home from this particular video is not to stress about things. As magicians, we stress about every small detail when we're performing. But really, you shouldn't do that. It's best not to stress about anything and just to try and go with the flow.
Okay, guys, so I want to give you a little bit of a tip. This is something that I've spoken about on my Alakazam Coin Magic Academies in the past, and I've also spoken about this on the Net Tricks, but it's something that I've never really mentioned on Magic TV. I have inside this purse ball bearings. Now, these are actually quite cheap to get. You can get them from Amazon. I've got little ball bearings. I've got big ball bearings. And anyone that's seen my routine sponge know I have even bigger ball bearings. Now, I'm obsessed with ball bearings, and one of the reasons is almost any coin trick that you do with coins, you can adapt to ball bearings, and it feels like a completely different trick. And this is something that I've done an awful lot. I've got a whole bunch of routines where I've taken coin magic and I've adapted it to billiard balls, and not billiard balls, sorry, these ball bearings. Now, you can get them really, really cheap on Amazon, and there's an awful lot you can do with them. So, for example, let's put the big ones away for a minute, and let's just use 4 of the little ones. I can actually do a really cool version of gadabout coins from Bobo's. So, for example, I could say, look, I've got 3 ball bearings here. This is 1, 2, and 3. If I put the first one into my hand and the second one into my hand, the third one in my pocket, how many are in my hand? Yeah, you'd think 2, but it's actually the 3 ball bearing trick because it uses 3 ball bearings. Let me do that again for you. I'll go really slowly. 1 goes in my hand, 2 go in my hand, 1 goes in my pocket. How many in my hand? You'd say 2, wouldn't you? But it's actually the 3 ball bearing trick. Let me do that one more time for you. I'll put 1 in my hand. I'll put 2 in my pocket. How many in my hand? You know, if you're going to watch that carefully, just forget it. You're not even going to worry about it. So that's gadabout coins, or a variation of gadabout coins, just using ball bearings. But the idea of using ball bearings instead of coins, really kind of like changes the trick up. So if you're performing to a lot of people and you want to be doing something else other than coin magic, this is great. And everybody knows what these little metal balls are. And they are so small, they're perfect for sleight of hand. Doing vanishes with them and shuttle passes with them are an absolute dream. But then when you start throwing in other ball bearings into the mix, then you start thinking, well, you know, where can you go with this? So I've got a routine on the net tricks called balls with a Z, because everybody knows that when you use a Z at the end, it becomes cooler, right? So I've got this routine called balls, and what it is it's basically gadabout coins, but it's multi-phased. So what happens is you start, like I just showed you, with gadabout coins, but with balls. But instead of them all disappearing, after you've done it a couple of times, when the balls go back into your hand, one of them grows to this size. And then as you have the next one go back, the next one grows to this size. And then you have the next one go back, the next one goes to this size. So you end up with 3 balls this size, and then you take that one and it turns into a jumbo ball bearing, which is just a really, really visual, really cool moment that like always gets a great reaction, right? Like always gets a great reaction. And because you're using balls, they're really visible, they make a real thud when you drop them on the table. It can all be done in the spectator's hands. It's really cool. And you can do stuff like, you know, 1 coin routine. So let's say you had that in your pocket. You could take a piece of nothing, snap, turn it into a coin, take that coin, make it jump from over there over to there, put it in your pocket, steal this one out, have it come back. And then you can do like things where you're making it grow in size. Then you throw coins into the mix. And then you're going in a completely different level. So imagine you had a coin here, and you say, look, I've got this coin. I'm just going to take this coin and I'm going to rub it in between my fingers, and I can turn it into a ball bearing, and then I can stretch it out and turn it back into a coin. Or if I take it, I can do this and have it turn back into a ball bearing, or squash it in between my hands and make it turn back into a coin. And if I just wave my hand over, it's a ball bearing, take it and squeeze it, it turns back into a coin. So you can do so many different sequences by combining coins with ball bearings. You can even do transpositions. So say, for example, you had an extra ball bearing, you could say, look, I've got 1 ball bearing and 1 coin. If I put the coin over here and the ball bearing over here and squeeze, I can make them jump and change places. Look, I'll show you that again. Look, I'm going to put the coin over here. I'm going to put the ball bearing over here. I can make them jump and change places. So there's so many different things that you can do. And I think that sometimes, you know, people ask me a question on the channel all the time about creativity and how do you become more creative with your magic. One thing that you can do is you can think about other objects that you can apply your sleight of hand with. So I'm just taking coin magic and I'm applying it to these little ball bearings, and it creates a whole different effect. So think about card magic. What can you do with your card sleight of hand? What prop can you adapt that to that basically changes the entire premise? It's really something to think about. Okay, guys, so this week on Magic TV on Saturday, I have an interview coming up with Mark Traversoni. Now, if you don't know Mark Traversoni, he is heads up Saturn Magic. Saturn Magic over here in the UK is a really big dealership, and they started off as Paul Harris Presents and then kind of moved on over the years, and every year at Blackpool they have a bigger presence and a bigger presence. A lot of people shop from them, and I was able to get an interview with Mark Traversoni, the man man himself, and he's going to be on the channel talking about his career through magic, how he became a dealer, what actually happened, that whole thing, and how he ended up from kind of basically having a hobby in magic to running a big dealership right here in the UK. So it's a really interesting interview. It's coming up this Saturday at 9 o'clock. I thought I'd give you a bit of a sneak peek of that interview right now. So here it is, a bit of a sneak peek of the interview. It's coming live at this Saturday right here on Magic TV.
How can you ensure, if you're creating a trick, obviously your goal as a creator is to make it as successful as possible. Your goal as a creator is to get a trick and have it blow up in the magic community, because it's going to raise your profile, it's going to ultimately make you more money, it's going to whatever the reasons are for people bringing out tricks. How can you ensure, and I know there's no way to completely ensure it, but is there anything that you can do to make a trick more appealing, or I don't want to say guarantee success, but kind of other things that you can put in place to make it more likely to be a successful product, as opposed to one of those products that you just mentioned that never sells?
Yeah, well, that all comes down to the trick submissions that we get every week. There's barely a morning goes by when there isn't another link to here's my trick. And I kind of tongue-in-cheek would say the amount of times that here's my trick has turned out to be a trick that's already been released before, so it isn't that person's trick at all, I've lost count of. And then the amount of times that someone comes to me with basically a flap card that it's his new trick because, I don't know, he's put a dinosaur on it, whereas someone else had chickens. So therefore it's a new trick. And I say to people, look, yeah, it's kind of okay. And I'm saying kind of okay. If this was the first time that had ever been done, with a flat card and a picture, then yeah, it would have been worth releasing. But the fact that probably 100 people have already done a flat card with a picture in the last 10 years, you're never going to blow up in the magic market with another flat card that changes from a to a picture, for instance. That's a bit of a bad example. So it's about and then those people get upset with you then because you haven't fallen in love with their trick, and you think, well, hang on, it's got to be in my view, but we do see some of them hitting the website, and actually this is an interesting thing to kind of touch on, because we have this automatic feed that whatever Murphy's put on their website ends up on our website, and you can say some of it's good, some of it's bad. I know there's been various conversations that you've had with people in the past where things that have been absolutely atrocious in your view have then suddenly someone's taken it and done incredibly well somewhere with it. So you think, well, yeah, I thought it was atrocious for what I wanted it for, but yeah, look, this guy's turned it into something incredible.
Yeah.
And I've always been, when we first started off as Paul Harris Presents, it was like, oh, we just pick a few choice things that I know are really popular. And then eventually we went down the route of, well, we'll just list everything Murphys do. And then people were saying, well, why are you putting this on your website? It's not very good. And you said, well, you're viewing it as maybe a close-up walk around table hopping magician. And I remember when the Rose app by Shin Lim came out, and someone said, oh, but I can't do that close-up. And I think, well, the trailer doesn't even suggest that you can. He's there on a massive stage with projection and dark lighting, and everything's perfect, for him doing this act. It's not a bad trick just because you can't do it closer. And I say that to customers all the time, actually, because they'll buy something. Oh, you can't do this 360 surrounded. And I'll say, no, but the trailer doesn't say that you can. If you look at the trailer, it's all filmed at the same angle, maybe straight on. If a trailer doesn't show you it being performed 360, then don't assume that you can, because and you can't say people are being deceptive by the video that they've done there because they've only filmed it from the front. They've showed you what the trick can do. It's a bit like looking at an advert for a new car. They'll tell you all the good things about the car, won't they?
Yeah.
They won't tell you that it's got a really tiny boot, so if you want to get your golf clubs in, they ain't going to go in. They'll tell you all the good things, how fast it goes and how cool it looks, and and all those sort of things. So you've got to do your research. You wouldn't buy a car without researching if whatever you want to put in it's going to fit. Or
I do say over and over again, it's down to the end user. It's down to the person who's buying it to check the reviews, check to see if it's suitable for them. Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what happens to me loads? Because I'm very honest. If someone rings me up and says, "What do you think of this?" I'll say, "Oh, that's a load of crap." And they'll go, "What?" And I'll go, "Yeah, that's rubbish." Now, I don't often say that. And on the review shows that I do, I always say honest. I used to say honest and considered reviews a lot, because I would review things from a balanced perspective. So in other words, if you're a close-up, if I was purely viewing it from a close-up walk-around magician, I'd say, "Oh, that's crap, you don't want that." But I can't do a review like that on my review show, because I know there's stage performers watching, there's social media guys, there's all sorts of people watching the show. And you've got to give that considered review. So in other words, no, if you're a close-up performer, you're not going to like this. But if you're into your TikTok videos or and stuff, or on stage, it's great. So if it's completely crap, then yes, I do say if it's crap for everything, which you get, it's not very often nowadays you get something that's completely rubbish for any situation. You get the odd thing every now and then, but it is really the odd thing.
Okay, guys, so I'm going to talk to you now about a deck of cards. Very so often on the 5x5s, I do deck reviews. Apparently, they're very, very popular. Well, I've got another deck review right now, and this is the FFP deck. There's two different versions of the FFP deck. I will talk about the other version a little bit later on in a different 5x5. But what the FFP deck stands for is fast food playing cards. So this deck of cards is actually themed to a fast food joint. So if you're working in a McDonald's, for example, and you were doing a residency in a McDonald's, this would absolutely be perfect. And the box is designed to be, looks like a French fries sort of box that you'd get from somewhere like McDonald's. It's actually a side loader for that very reason. So, like I say on this channel, a lot of time people ask for deck reviews. I saw this deck. Ryland got them for himself. Of course he did. There's nothing that kid loves more than magic than fast food. So he got himself a fast food deck, or a few of them. He got a brick of them. And I was like, give me one of those, right? I want to review this on the show. So let me bring the camera a little bit closer, and what we'll do is we'll have a really good look at the FFP deck. So first of all, if you come a little bit closer, Jack, you can actually see this is the box, and it is designed to look like a fast food box. You've got French fries on that side, fast food playing cards on that side. Even the back of the box is ridiculous. It looks like it's ingredients. It says here ingredients, 54 cards per deck. It's just ridiculous, really, when you think about it. Anyway, so when you actually look inside the box, it opens up like this. And when you look inside the box, the first thing that you see are the jokers. Well, there's 3 jokers, and we'll get to that in a minute. But first of all, you've got this, which is some fries printed on FFP playing cards. The backs of the cards are designed to look like mustard. I mean, they're absolutely crazy when you look at them. Check that out. I mean, they really kind of look like these mustardy playing cards, bright yellow. You've got your chips on there. Very interesting concept, actually. It's actually really fun. Now, you've got 3 French fries, which I thought was very interesting. So you've got French fries, you've got 3 jokers. So you've got a joker where you've got a French fries, you've got the actual fries, and you've got a ketchup. And then you've got another one where the fries have gone, but the ketchup's there. And you've got another one where there's no fries, but instead there's a playing card. I don't know if you can see in there. There's a 6 of hearts, which is kind of interesting. And then you've got these, the actual cards themselves. I love the Ace of Spades. The Ace of Spades is really cool. You've got the French fries. You've got the sauce packets in there. The cards themselves are really nice. They've got a little kind of thing on them. It's the court cards that are hilarious. I've got no idea what's going on with that Jack's moustache. There's really something weird going on there. I love the fact how the king is holding French fries and Pepsi.
Looks like Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Don't you think they've done a really good job of the Ace of Diamonds logo? The Ace of Diamonds, really good. And notice the red cards are actually yellow. Which is really bizarre, but there you go. And you can see more. This king is eating chicken. So he's probably Colonel Sanders. This one here is, I have no idea what he's doing, to be perfectly honest, other than he's got a very dodgy moustache. And this guy here, I love how normally this king is stepping himself in the head with a knife, but he's squirting ketchup on himself. Very, very, very interesting. So the cards are really nice. What I like about this is obviously this has been designed for magicians because you've got a card reveal here. So you could, for example, have this set up here and this set up here. So you could have those set up on top of the deck and have the Joker maybe turned over like this. And have the 6. I'm just coming up with this on the top of my head. So you could, for example, just do a riffle force. So you ask somebody to say stop, they say stop. You show them that card, so you're forcing the 6 of hearts, and you would cut the deck, and you'd say, look, I'm going to make a Joker appear. And you would make a Joker appear like there, and you've got French fries in there, so you can see you've got French fries right there. You've got a ketchup, but watch if I just take this and just wave it, the French fries disappear. How amazing is that? But look, I know you picked a card. If I just wave my hand over the French fries kit, look at that. Now there's the 6 of hearts in there. So there's a lot of stuff you can do. You could probably incorporate this as well. So when the French fries disappear, they pop onto this card. I love it when you get a deck of cards that's got funky little cards in it that you can actually use in magic tricks. That's when I like these gimmick decks the best, or these specially printed decks the best. But yeah, it's really good. FFP, the fast food playing cards, I would highly recommend them. They feel good, they look good, they shuffle well, and yeah, it's just a really fun deck. There you go, guys. That's another 5x5 in the bag. Thank you so much once again for joining me right here on Magic TV. Don't forget, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back again tomorrow with a Talk Magic at 9 o'clock, a Shorts at 2 o'clock, and at 6 o'clock we're going to go with a live. And yeah, don't forget, if you haven't already done so and you want to check out the net tricks, you can do so by just subscribing for a month, seeing what it's like. You can cancel any time, although to be honest, not many people are, because it's packed full of value, and we've just updated it with another 10 routines. So we're now up to 110 tricks after a week, and we've just got started. You want to find out more, go to www.thenettricks.com and get immediate access. I'm going to be back again tomorrow. I'll see you then. Thanks so much for joining me. My name's Craig from Magic TV.